What is going on, guys? Welcome to Hagus Hobbies, and I'm going to be showing you today what you can do with a simple 2x4x8. With this video, it's going to something that is going to cost you around $5. I'll make sure, I don't remember exact prices anymore. I'll see what my local hardware, or like Lowe's or Home Depot has them for a price. I'll put that on the screen, and I'm going to show you what a simple 2x4 and a couple pieces of machinery can get you to doing to make a couple extra dollars. Okay, y'all, so I have my 2x4 up on my chop saw, which much easier if you get a chop saw. It'll cut down some time on you. I know it's going to cost you a little bit of money, $200 or so, but I mean, you can go to your local hardware store, Lowe's, wherever, and if you need to, get the cheapest one they have, and you can go from there, and it'll help till you can get the one you really want. And a little extra cash that you can put towards better tools and stuff like that. But anyways, so I have my 2x4 right on my chop saw. I'm going to measure out for the first runners, or the biggest part of this project, which are going to be, which I have one right here, are going to be these 3-foot. These are, well, and I'll show you how I'll cut them down. But you're going to cut one piece at 3 foot and go from there. So we'll do that now. So you're going to get measured out, and it doesn't never hurt to just cut one side. Your ends of your board might not be straight, so it doesn't hurt to bring your board out. And I know this is going to be a little bit tough. I'm going to have to hold it down and just give it a quick chop, and which will make your board and flush, so you have perfectly straight ends. So we'll do that now. And that'll be the side you'll measure out on to get your, or to do your measurements. So we'll flip this back around, we'll bring this back on our chop saw, and we will measure out the 3 foot. Mark your 3 foot, or 36 inches. All right, and so we'll do this real quick. There's that, which will get this done, or use that in a minute. Now you are going to want 4 pieces at 13 inches, or sorry, cut 2 pieces at 14 inches, which you're gonna for these rip down in half, which will cut into 4. So I'm going to do the 13 inches. There's those 2, and then you are going to want two pieces at 18 inches. And then you will have left, which you can use this on another project, you'll have about 15 and a half inch piece that you can use towards your next build. If you want to multi build these type of things, this will get you towards your next pieces that you use for your 13 inches. This so that'll be one less piece you have to technically cut. Or I mean, you can use these if say you mess up on one and you don't like it, there's your spare. So now that we have, which I'm going to put this into my storage so I know where it is. Now that is done, we'll go over to the to my table saw and we'll go and cut these down to 1.5 inches. Now that we're over at a table saw, we want to rip them down to 1.5 inches. What you see, there's our inch, there's our quarter, and there's our half, which would be our next big line. And then with my table saw, it has that red line, which you'll put right over that 1.5 inches. So let's do it. There's our 1.5 inches, and there's our inch. Then we'll lock it down. And with any type of cutting or anything we're doing, I like to take my board and make sure these blades, which you can see these blades are right there. I like to have that this notch right here, I like to have that right at the top of the 2x. So we'll bring it down just a little bit. And then this will go straight through this board perfectly. So now, but first, I forgot a step. I do want to take this round edge off of this board. So this board is 3.5 inches. So I'm going to take it just right before the 3.5, and I'm going to take it down. And now I am going to take the edge off just the one side, and I'll go from there. So what I did is I took about 1/16 off, which it still has a little bit around, but when I go and sand this down, it'll be fine. So now I'm going to go back to my 1.5 inches, bring it down, and I'm going to take the side I just cut, and I'm going to put that towards the guard. And when you're doing this, it should come with a push stick. Use your push stick. And that's how you would cut these two into two pieces to make just part of what you're going to be building. We'll run through these real quick and then come back to it. All right, now I have my boards all cut, my 13s, my 2 18s, and my 2 36s. Now we can get the laying out for this thing right here, and I'll turn around and show it real quick. We'll see what final view of it. So it is laying down right now, but this is what you'll be making. I'll stand it up on the floor here. Actually, it is a blanket rack, which you can also put another one in here in the middle to find your equal spacing, and that'll help it a lot too for blankets, so they're not oh, excuse me. But now, as we said, we got these guys laid out. Now we can start to build. All right, y'all. Now what we're going to do is take our board, our 36-inch board, and you're going to find whatever the side you like best, or I like to do the straightest side, which I'm going to take this side and I'm going to put it on my outside. And then what you're going to do is take what I cut, my 13-inch piece, and you're just going to put it right towards the end, right on the inside. Like, I don't know if you've seen it in the view, but it's going to pretty much make it out. Putting your next piece on top, but we'll do that in a minute. So you're going to be making an L, then you're going to be taking, which I just put it away, and you can also get a clamp, a long clamp, which will keep this nice and straight, which obviously one bigger than this, because you're going to need one that's about 14 to 15, well, at least 15 inches long. But you can take a clamp like this and you can clamp it either way, long ways, on one your top side and on your 36-inch side, which will hold it down. But I'm just going to use my hands. And then I'm going to take this bit here, which will pilot a hole right in, which will get, it's pretty much a set hole, and I'm going to place it right in the middle, as close as I can in the middle, and I'm going to just pilot a hole, which I'm going to actually make it easier, and I'm going to flip it because I can see still center. If you line these up, I can still see about center, right where it's going to go. So, see if I can do this one hand and still video. Make a hole, indentation just like that, and then now we'll run our bit right through that hole. So let's do it now. And just like that, we have our hole. And now we can line this up in line with that. And then we can take our bit and then pilot a hole through here. So we'll do that right now. And just like that, it has the hole right there, which will line up right in. Then your screw will have a hole to fall in. So now we'll do that with the other one, and we'll be back right at it. Let's run our screw. Before we start that, let's run our screw in there to hold this in. So let's do that. And just like that, we have a screw in, which will hold. And any missed surfaces, we can always sand down, which we are going to want to get this nice and smooth, sanded down. But that will be for the next step after we get done building. So let's go and build the next one, and we'll come back to it. Okay, now that we have those two together, now we can go and do this top side. So let's go and do the same thing as we did to here. And now you should have two C's. With these C's, you're gonna turn up and then it's gonna be like this. And when you get those 18-inch pieces, it'll give you a little bit more stability. So that's what we are gonna be working on next, is getting those 18-inch pieces across the bottom. So now that we have our C, we can take our 18-inch pieces and you're going to put one here, one at this end, one on here on both sides. So what I'd like to do you can go down from the top, or you can come from the bottom, which will hide it a little bit more, and you don't need to have any extra wood putty if you're going from the bottom. From the top, you might want to, even though the blankets are going to hold or hide it. So find whichever side you want best, and then you can put this on. If I should say this first, if you want to go and sand these first, which will be a lot easier because then you don't have to tear these apart, leave them as is, and then sand what is all there. So you might have to get some actual sandpaper and get the corners, but everything else you can use with a sander, which you can get for, I think it's about 50 bucks. You can get a Craftsman one at Lowe's, and then some sandpaper, which might cost you about $10 or so, and you can hit these and get these nice and smooth. And then you can get with the stain, which you can use any stain. The one I just showed you, that was, I'll bring it out here. I used this stain right here, which is a dark walnut, 2716 dark walnut. It's obviously an older can. This one I don't have much here, but I have two other ones. I'm just doing different, but I have a maple, and I have a walnut. So there's not much left of this maple, so I might try that and see how it goes. And maybe the next one we can do the walnut. I'm going to do a couple different ones, and I thought about doing a burn texture. So what I noticed about the burn texture is, let me get this out of the way. I liked how this was, but when I got on the sides, I didn't care for how it was just burning it. So I gotta figure out how, like, do more burn texture, because I haven't really done much burn texturing. I might try one and see how I like it, or maybe I'll try it on a different project. Like, so in future videos I'm going to do them, but I'll show you a sneak peek of a future video. So in a future video, I'm going to be making these, which I can possibly do a burn texture. I can paint, which this will be painted here. I can, with possibly doing some chalkboard paint, or I can do it white paint, so they can put whatever stencil they want from a Cricut or whatever. But this will be a future video, and I'll show you how we can make better one, or make some of these. Or just a Christmas tree like this with maybe a sign, or just maybe, I don't know, we'll figure that out. But this Christmas tree right here we can make with them. But those are two projects I have down here at the moment. I got actually another one that I have upstairs that actually it's outside, that I haven't started making extras of. I made one, but I haven't made more. But this is where we're starting for now, and then we'll go from there. As I said, you can do either or. You can put it tight to the bottom. You can put it one right here, just like this, and then one here at the end. And you can, that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna do one here, and you can either drill from the top here, or what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in from the back side here, and I'm gonna do just like I did here with my screw. So let's do that, and we'll get these on, and we'll come back. All right, y'all. I came to the point where I got my first board locked in. It's not perfect yet, but once I get this other side done, it'll lock in, and then we'll have our bottoms to put on, and then these will be square. So now I'm going to go and get this side done, and I know it's not, I wish I made my board a little bit bigger, or my table a little bit bigger, but my table is only so wide, so I have to do what I'm working with. So I'm working on the end of my table, so unfortunately you can't see because I don't have the proper area or filming area to do it, but I'm going to flip this around. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up, take my clamp, and I'm going to line my edges up, line this side up and the top, and then I'm going to clamp it just like so, before I get it too far down. Too far tight, I should say. Make sure she's lined up and then tighten it down. Now I can drill my hole and secure it with the screw. It'd work if I had a good charged battery. Been using it a lot lately, and I haven't put it on the charger. So make sure you have good charged batteries too with this. So once I'm done with this project, I am going to go set them up on the charger. All right, now that we have this side done, everything's good. See, that side's done. You can flip it over. And we can do what we just did, clamp and clamp and secure. That's pretty much what we're doing. But first, drill your pilot hole and get that started and finished. Already did this side at some point, so that side's done. Get your drill bit. Make sure this side's down. All right, now it's time for your clamps. Now this part would be a lot easier if you had two people, but if you're wanting to do this for something to do on the side, just try to get one side on. Make sure you're not covering your pilot or your hole, your screw hole, and then come back. Once that side's on, you can double check it and get your other side, which I'm doing now. If I can get this clamp to release. There we go. Which I think I'm going to have to put one on top here. Because it wants to roll. That one's covering. I'll take this to the side a little bit. There we go. Get it as line as you can. That's flush there. We'll get our drill our hole through it, so that this 18-inch piece has a place to for the screw to go into. That, or it'll be trying to find the hole and it'll be fighting and it'll push against you and it'll make it a lot harder. So get your drill a hole, and now you can send your screw right through that hole. There we go. Nice and flush. Good to go. Now we'll copycat on this side, and then we'll do the we'll flip this around, do that side, and then we're good. Then you can get to sanding it and staining whatever. Either if you want to stain it, if you want to leave it how it is, if you like the natural pine look, or you can try the burn texture. If you ever done burn texture and you want to try it out, I highly suggest, if you haven't done the burn texturing. So this is what I have. It's a regular small propane tank with a little torch. That's what I have. You just turn it on and just hit the button. You can use it for you can use it for soldering. Plumbers use it for soldering and whatever. This is what I have, which is what I just showed you for the burn texture. If you want to try the burn texturing, go for it. Just be easy with it. Make sure you don't catch anything on fire. That's the biggest thing. If you're doing it inside, definitely make sure you're doing being very careful. Make sure you're not near anything flammable outside too. So maybe one here in a little bit or sometime I'll try the burn texture and we'll do it together, because I've never burn textured anything. I stained, but I never tried the burn texture. So we'll go from there. I'll finish this and then I don't know if I'm going to do it at this moment, but we'll sand everything down and we'll pick a stain and we'll stain it and get this thing finished. And so I said an 8-foot 2x4. I would definitely get a 10-foot 2x4. Then you will have definitely exact and a little extra to go. So if I were to get anything else, I would not go to get a 2x4x8. I would get a 2x4x10, which is technically an 1.5 by 3.5 by 10 foot. So that's if you ever go to the store, go and get your 10-foot. Hopefully you'll be able to transfer it. If not, see if your hardware stores, Lowe's, Home Depot, whoever, can get cut the measurements that you want, because sometimes they will. I don't know if they'll rip them in half for you, so you might have to figure that out on your own. But I know they do, like they will cut your plywood. So see if your local hardware store, Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever, will cut your lumber into the pieces that you want. That'll be one less step that you have to worry about. Which you can tell them you want it at, you want 13, 18, and 36-inch pieces. You want 2 pieces cut at 13, 2 pieces cut at 18, and then 1 cut at 36. And then they'll give you the extra piece, which you can do whatever you want with. You can use it as a possible in your next build if you want to build these for extra or somebody else. Because Christmas is coming up, and these right here be perfect Christmas gifts. So that's another thing to think about. And while I'm over here, as I said, once I get this up here, you can also put one in between. Find your measure from inside to inside, see what your measurement is, put another one in between. I'm not, but that's a good possibility you can, or another thing you can do that will help this, and it will structural ability of it too. So let's get this done and clamp this up. And these screws I am using are 2.5s, which they get in about halfway in to your other board. And just like that, you have made a wall hanger. I have to get my clips yet, but then you will take your clips and you can put them on here or in here, and they're wall hanger clips. You tack them wherever you want, then pretty much measure your space, then put it on the wall where you want, make sure it's level, and you can hang it right on the wall, which we can show that here once I get my wall or my clips. And just like that, we have our hooks on to our stand, and now we can just hang it up just like this, right on, and then you have the perfect stand for your blankets up against the wall. So if you like this, let it down in the comments below. I hope this helps, and I'll see you on the next video.